Hi everyone, I'm Julie, French product manager for Boutinot International, and today I'm going to present you wines that were featured in the Old World selection. It was very hard to pick 9 wines that represented the Boutinot philosophy and the essence of what we do as a producer, but hopefully the selection of white, rosé and red wine that we've got to show today will give you a good idea of who we are as producer. This is a quintessential Boutinot approach to wine. Great quality entry-level wine that deliver outstanding value for money. So without further ado, let's start with the tasting. So we start with a Vin de France blend, which is Petit Chat Malin, the little cunning cat, which is a blend of Grenache, Marsanne and Roussanne. The idea here is to keep a consistent style year after year. So that's why we've decided to explore Vin de France as an appellation, because it gives us amazing flexibility when it comes to creating a profile that is a little bit neutral, but at the same time where it hits like different notes on the way. So in terms of the tasting, it has a lot going on. I know it's a bit ambitious, but I like to describe it as a baby Côte du Rhône, because ultimately it's the same blend. The only difference is we make it in a very approachable style. So you've got the Grenache that just bring this sort of like stone fruit notes, the basis that every Vin de France wine will have to have. And then the Marsanne and the Roussanne just come and hit the wine with some delicate white flowers note. You've got a little bit of apricot, a little bit of lime. On the palate, you've got all these array of different like stone fruit notes, apricot, you've got the peach, and the Marsanne and Roussanne just bring a sort of more elevated taste to the wine with sort of white flowers note, a little bit of hint of honey as well. So this is just a real crowd pleaser. Now we're going to be tasting an absolutely outstanding Cortese from Eraldica, which is a forward-thinking cooperative based in Piemonte, Castelbuglione. Founded in 1954, it's a serious family affair that's going on over there. You've got Claudio, which is managing director. You've got Lela Manera, who's head of quality control. And Carlo is now a qualified winemaker. You're in for a treat because actually Eraldica specializes in Cortese and Barbera. Cortese is obviously really famous for its use in Gavi. What we have is a very approachable style of Cortese. It's actually coming from grapes that are from 250 to 400 meters of altitude on the Monferrato hill. On the nose, it's almost spicy. You've got a little bit of honey coming through. In terms of tasting, it's just brilliant. It's very vibrant. You've got loads of almost tropical notes to it. You've got a lovely grapefruit, citrus acidity. It's just perfect, extremely refreshing, almost has this sort of like creaminess to it. Yeah, just a perfect Cortese. Now we're taking a trip to Italy with our famous range Italia, which is basically the best grape varieties of Italy from across different regions. No Old World selection is complete without a Pinot Grigio. We've got classic Pinot Grigio profile here. So we've got a couple of notes of citrus. We've got some stone fruit notes as well. And because we pick some of the best Pinot Grigio and we do some hand harvest, that allows us to really pick one of the best Pinot Grigio from the Veneto area. I mean, it's just perfect. It is exactly what a Pinot Grigio should be doing. You've got this sort of like zingy acidity, and then you've got this nice fleshy texture to it. This is just great with any occasions, whether you want something fresh for the aperitif or even with seafood. IGP Hock Rosé is an absolute classic, and we're working off a combination of 70% Grenache and 30% Cinsault. So quite a decent amount of Cinsault that we added to the wine. So this is a classic rosé de press. So we just gently press the Grenache and the Cinsault, and then we blend them together, because what we want here, we're not going to lie, we just want fruit, acidity and freshness, the holy trinity. So in terms of style, we still want that fruitiness, but the Cinsault is going to tone down this sort of extremely sunny and fruity Grenache that you can get from the wine. So on the nose, it's very soft. You've got some light notes of grapefruit. You've got a little bit of strawberry coming through. And then when you taste, it's just a perfect rosé to be enjoying in the summer. You've got this almost like soft and tangy acidity as well that come through. You've got this sort of like strawberry notes. Again, like extremely simple. In terms of pairing, you have different options here. You can do it with salmon, you can have a little goat cheese tart to go with it. This will go extremely well with red mullet and some roasted fennel as well. An introduction to Boutinot is not an actual introduction if you don't get to taste Cuvée Jean Paul. So Cuvée Jean Paul is our first made by Boutinot wines, and we kept the style consistent over 30 years. So here we've got a blend of Grenache and Syrah from IGP Vaucluse. Here we've got Grenache and Syrah from the sunny Vaucluse, and it's just giving us exactly what we want. So this is your typical, very approachable Côte d'Iron style wine that is just packed with fruit, a little bit of spiciness coming from the Syrah. On the nose, I mean, this is just absolutely outstanding. You've got loads of fruit. It's actually really complex. There is a lot of spicy note to it. You've got some almost bramble element. I mean, it's just absolutely divine. This almost is super fresh. It's extremely like a crunchy style of wine. At the end, you've got the Syrah coming through with this sort of like licorice notes, a little bit of spice. You've got a hint of violet, and the Grenache just bring that fruit basket that you just want with your like warm, sunny Vaucluse wine. 30 years after, still the same great wine. So we are now in Puglia, in the Salento Peninsula, and we're going to be tasting a Primitivo that was aged in botti. These are from grapes from 20 to 60 years old vines. In terms of tasting, you've got your typical Primitivo character. There is a little bit of dried figs going on, a little bit of chocolate as well. It has this sort of like smoky elements. The tannins really lift like the whole profile of the wine. It's big, it's bold, and is the way Primitivo is meant to be. We are continuing our trip to Italy, where we're going to be tasting classic combination of Barbera made in Piemonte. This is made by Carlo Manera, head winemaker Eraldica. And again, this is a very approachable style of Barbera. In terms of taste, it's just really ripe. You've got loads of red berries, almost like that sour cherry, smoky, earthy taste to it as well. Amazingly balanced, honestly, just a great Barbera. We have a lot of red wines at Boutinot, but this one is actually quite special. So here we are in Haute-Vallée de l'Aude, where Malbec grows at an altitude of 400 meters. We are just at the foothills of the Pyrenees, so absolutely outstanding climate to grow this grape. Here the climate and the slow ripening process of the Malbec allows us to really get that crunchy texture and such a three-dimensional type of wine. In terms of tasting, there is just actually loads going on here. In terms of profile, you get that classic like plummy chocolate cassis going on as well. This wine is a true testimony of what Boutinot can achieve when they've got access to interesting terroirs and amazing regions. An outstanding Merlot with a twist. So on this one, it's a blend of 80% Merlot and 20% Mourvèdre. In terms of winemaking, we kept it, again, extremely simple, because you will see when you taste, is just fruit driven. The grapes are destemmed, and then we do cold maceration just to extract a lot of fruit from the Merlot, a little bit of spice from the Mourvèdre, and then we do cold fermentation again, just keep it cold the whole time, just to get as much fruit as possible. In terms of taste profile, there is just, again, a lot going on here. So you've got this damson fruit, there is a sort of almost like violet tone coming from it. It's an invitation to just taste it. So without further ado, I mean, just yummy, yummy, yummy. The Merlot is bringing that sort of like plum element. You've got the violet, you've got a little bit of licorice, and then the Mourvèdre just come and brings that backbone to the wine, because with Merlot, we wanted to extract that fruitiness, but we also wanted to give a lovely structure to the wine. Just sort of lovely tannins at the end as well. They really keep the wine going. And this is just calling for a great steak, potentially a pizza with some salami on it. So yeah, just obviously anything with a bit of spice as well. So why not even throwing some vegetarian option with some honey glazed roasted carrots and a bit of rosemary. Sold. I hope this presentation has spiked your curiosity, and if you require any more information about the wines, get in touch with your account manager.